Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, I just got this cool little 1/18 scale RC truck in from Haiboxing, or for short HBX is what most people call Haiboxing. It's a little 1/18 scale brushed RC 4x4 truck. This one's called the race truck. A lot of other reviewers have been getting a very similar model. In fact, I think it's identical except for the body, and that was the 1/18 scale Hailstorm. And this is the same exact truck. In fact, the purchase link will probably go to the Hailstorm because, you know, it's the same exact truck. It just has a slightly different Lexan body. Now you have to put the decals on, which I already put on here. It just comes with this blue and black design, but you do have to put the decals on. There's a decal sheet, which I'll show you guys. I didn't get all of them put on here, but it looks like it gives you maybe some decals for the other body style too, because you got two different sets of headlights and two different styles of tail lights there to put on it. But I didn't get every single decal put on this little truck. So let's take a look at the box. It is the 18859. I believe the Hailstorm version is 18858. Full ball bearings in this guy, a little brushed motor, four-wheel drive, splash proof on the electronics, so you can certainly get it wet. Just don't want to try submerging it. And it comes in green, orange, blue, and red. And of course, this is blue, which you see they got the blue sticker here next to the Haiboxing to know that this is the color blue on this little guy. So it just has friction shocks. I'll show you guys. It does not come oil filled, but you could easily upgrade this to oil filled. That would be my very first recommendation on an upgrade on this. Now, I've not driven this one. I have some similar ones. I have a 1/16 scale Haiboxing 16889, which I put oil filled shocks on it. That's a brushless version. They make a brush version of that also. And it's one of my favorite RC cars. So I know I'm gonna love this one, even though I have not driven this one yet. But this is 1/18 scale. So this is just a hair smaller than that one. Now, one of the nice things that they did with this car is they included these little tabs on the body clips. And man, I tell you what, that makes a huge difference on how easy it is not only get these off, but even putting them back on the car. And they gave us some spare ones too, which I'll show you guys in the spare part bag here in just a moment. But I wanted to take the body off and show you guys underneath the body. You have an on and off switch on the side, which is pretty neat. You just press it. You have to worry about digging up under there. Obviously, you just got to get the battery plugged in. Uses a Dean's plug. Here's a little light. I'll show you the battery here in the bag so we can show you the size of that, because I have it upside down at the moment. It has a sort of an upgraded, I think this is a newer style receiver slash ESC for this little guy. Here's your little brushed motor with some passive cooling on it. So you can see just friction shocks, but it seems well built. You have a fully proportional steering on this little miniature servo, so everything is proportional. You have a metal drive shaft between the front and the back, including metal dog bones. So it's, like I said, it's pretty well built. I can just tell by looking at it and just the feel of this little truck. So, you know, it should get a pretty decent drive time, but it won't be like crazy long. Let me show you guys the bag here. Here is, they give you a spare LiPo, so you get two LiPos with this. And again, that's a 7.4 volt now, 850 milliamp hour, 2S LiPo battery. So I'm thinking somewhere in that 10 to 15 minute drive time, depending on how you drive it. You know, it's just going to vary, but you did get two of them. Comes with a little USB charger to the balance plug, so it's going to take a little while to charge these, and unfortunately they only give you one. So I always recommend with any of these batteries that use a hobby grade style plug, the Dean's plug, to get yourself a hobby grade charger. Even if you only spend 20 or 30 bucks on a IMAX V6 clone, not an authentic Sky RC, those cost more, but you can get a clone off eBay or Amazon. Those things will charge up way faster and way more accurate than these little USB ones. And you can also see you got 4 extra of those little cool little body clips inside here. And here is the controller. And the controller is rather toyish feeling. It's probably the cheapest of all the stuff, but I've driven it a little bit inside my house and it seems perfectly fine. It's just very small. It seems fine for my adult size hand. I don't have huge hands. It's just rather small and sort of cheap, so I'd be careful. Don't go dropping this or something. You very easily could bust this, but it seems to work just fine. Just a plastic wheel. There's no rubber or foam grip on it. Takes two AA batteries here in the bottom. Your on-off switch on the side. Here's your steering trim. to adjust that on the side, which is kind of interesting. There's a red light up here in the, what would be the antenna area. There's probably not even an antenna up in there. Sure, it's just looped inside to let you know the power's turned on. And you have a steering reversing, which you shouldn't have to mess with, and a slow and a normal speed. Now it's out of factory set to slow, and I didn't realize that for just a second. I meant that, man, this thing's slow. And then I realized there's a little switch on top for the slow to normal. So I'll start out normal and I'll flip it down to slow to show you guys that speed, because if you get this for a younger individual, you might want to go with slow if they're maybe, you know, first, second grade type kid, just so that they keep it under control and don't smash it up. Now I'm going to take it out here for a drive in a moment, and Katie's out here in the rocks, and she's going to drive it as well. She's pretty experienced with these cars, so I'll probably let her drive it in normal speed because she's pretty good at driving this stuff. So again, pretty cool little brushed car from what I can tell. We'll get a final thought on that once I actually get out and drive it to make sure it's got adequate power and it drives good. We have purchase link for this on Amazon, to Haiboxing or HBX on Amazon listing there for it. It has like a 20% off, I think it was, code, coupon, I should say, you clip. I think this drops us down in the $65 range. That's a very nice price for a little car like this, assuming that it runs good, which I'm sure it's going to. But let's wait until I get done to actually give you the final word on that little guy. So we'll take it and we'll drive this little car around. And one other thing I didn't mention, it does have LED lights, which I'll show you guys here. Just press that button. They'll flash now because we're not bound up. Nice little white LED lights. My 16889, I believe, has LED lights also. Nice little touch, especially on a gloomy day like today, or especially if you drive it at night. All right, that's enough jibber jabbering. Let me get it all connected and put back together, and we'll take it out for the driver view portion. So we'll be right back, guys. All right, so let's take it out now and drive it around here and see how this little guy performs. As you guys can see, there's the front LEDs solid now that I got it bound with the controller. I'm going to start it out in slow. So I flip it down there to show you guys the difference, because it is pretty slow in slow. That's why it's called slow. And of course, that would be good for someone who's younger, who doesn't have the skills yet to drive something faster. So here it is. That's full speed. I got my kids out here playing now. My youngest one's gonna want to chase the car around. That's slow. So let's put it up into highest speed. And there, look at that, way different. Even though it's four-wheel drive, it still does donuts. It's losing traction. Probably more of the motor being towards the back. It's probably sending more power to the back tires than the front, causing it to peel out like that. Yeah, this is nice, and well, it has good power. I was a little worried when you get down to this size a car. Sometimes these cars can struggle on the grass, and this one, you know, with a LiPo battery, it's really got good power. Take it out here in the street. Yeah, whoa, it flipped over. There's a tree branch out here I couldn't see that's falling down. Katie's gonna go set it up right for me. And I think it kind of rode up that branch and fell down. There we go, but it's perfectly fine. And those headlights, those front LED lights look cool. Yeah, this is great. And I'm not surprised. I would have been shocked if it wasn't, because Haiboxing, or HBX for short, is one of my favorite RC budget brands. They just make really good RC cars. They perform great and they're inexpensive. If you're looking for a little basher for your kid for Christmas, these are going to be hard to pass on because they're not going to break the bank. Let's get some of these leaves. We got a whole bunch of leaves caught underneath it here. Let's pull that out. There we go. And now it's clear. Well, mostly clear. There's still one caught in the back. A lot of trees around here. And those leaves drive me crazy when they get caught on. Let's pull these leaves off, Katie. They get caught around the drive. They get spun around the drive shafts at times too. They get caught in there. But yeah, these HBX are great. And if I was gonna pick my 3 favorite budget off-brand, or cause these are not as well known as the stuff like you see here in the US at your local hobby shops. Haiboxing, I would put number 1, and my personal favorite Zinlahong are great, and PX Toys. Those are my 3 go-to brands for cheap, inexpensive, but we got well-made, good performance, won't break the bank. And this one's real good, as I figured it would be. So in a minute here, I'm gonna let Katie drive it because she wants to drive it, and that'll give a chance for you guys to see just, you know, a 9-year-old girl can drive these trucks just fine. So don't know the top speed on this guy, but it's probably going to be somewhere in that, you know, 15 to 20 mile per hour range, which is perfectly fine for a little brush truck like this. Yeah, this is awesome. Absolutely love this little guy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the video real quick here, let Katie drive it, and I'm going to get the camera off my head, and I'll film it a little better up close with the camera in my hand. Give you guys some little better shots of that here in a minute. Now, she may be a little more reckless with this thing, so we'll see how she drives it. So let's do that, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. So we got the car here ready for Katie to drive. So I'm holding the camera in my hand. Let's see how this works. So go ahead and take it out, Katie. Hopefully we can get a little bit better shots here without me relying on my head. I'm using the Rocksteady image stabilization on the Osmo, which is great. So it won't be too shaky, guys. Yeah, she's peeling. See, she doesn't even drive these very much. She is just excellent at driving these RC cars and boats. She's done drones just a teeny tiny bit. She's not so comfortable with that. But these trucks, she is great with them. I think about 2 years ago, I took my big FT011 brushless boat. Maybe it's the FT013. I can't remember. It's a big brushless boat. And she drove that thing around. I think it goes like 35 miles an hour. And she's driving that thing around the lake. And she had never driven one before. And I thought for sure she would crash into the shore and bust it. Nope. I just told her to let off the throttle before she got close so she didn't lose control, and it was amazing. She is very, very good at this. Just back it up now, Katie. Just back it up. She got under a van. There you go. My youngest one loves the cars. She just wants to chase them. Now, she does like to drive them. That's Bryn. She loves to drive them, but she can only steer. So I usually will do the throttle for her. And if you do it inside, she just crashes into the walls. This guy, even on slow, is probably too quick to drive inside the house. So yeah, it's still going strong. It's still going strong, isn't it, Katie? Look, the battery still looks good. I just charged up one, and I didn't use the included charger. That's why you see it's still sealed in the bag. So if you get this for someone and you don't have anything else, that included charger will be just fine, but I would invest in a better one so you can charge it up faster, and you'll be able to ensure the battery lasts longer by properly charging it. Oh, he flipped it. It kind of hit my foot. Yeah, get those leaves out of there, Katie. Go ahead and drive here for another minute or so, and then we'll wrap this video up. Yeah, my youngest one's like, hey, get this thing going now. Don't worry about the leaves. Good job, Katie. Whoa, watch out for Bryn. Don't want to ram it running into it. It just did a somersault, didn't it? Hey, as long as it lands upright on its wheels, and you can just keep going. Oh, banged into my foot. So this is, again, if you just skip forward in the video or something and you're wondering about this, I think this car is great. And as usual, I'm not surprised because I know how good Haiboxing is. I got the little 16889 brushless, and I have the old ground crusher, and it is absolutely great, both of them. Again, HBX is my personal favorite. Followed closely by Zinlahong and PX Toys. And some of these sellers of these Haiboxings have been including oil-filled shocks and metal part upgrades, at least on the 16889. I would definitely look into it. I don't remember the millimeter length on the shocks for this one, but a little pair of shocks, oil-filled shocks, and they'll make a huge difference. This truck won't be so bouncy. It'll have better traction. It'll just be easier to control, and of course it'll handle jumps a lot better. And you won't have to spend much. Just look on eBay, Banggood, or this, where you can get a lot of these little RC cars. They sell all those oil-filled shocks, even aluminum ones, alloy ones, that are just dirt cheap, and they work great. You don't need to go to your hobby shop or something where you're going to spend an arm and a leg on a pair of shocks. All right, we're just about done here. We'll let Kitty put it down. My youngest one is very upset. She wants to play with it. It's got too many leaves in it. Okay. Okay. Is it good to go? All right, there it goes. Yeah, it just the gravel does that, Katie. It loses traction on this gravel. But that's okay. That's part of the fun. All right, guys. I think that's enough. We might jibber jabbering and long-windedness, and my driving and Katie's. We probably have a pretty long video already. So that should wrap up the review of this little guy. Let me grab him, Katie. The little race truck, HBX or Haiboxing. Really, really neat little car. Absolutely love this. I'm gonna pull the leaves out of it. So yeah, guys, that wraps it up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell so you know whenever I do upload new videos. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.